Hi, welcome to Writing Comics. I'm Jerry, and I'm here with the Skits Comics team, Michael and Carshénah. Hey, guys.
Hey, man.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for having us on here, man. This is fantastic. There's no other place we'd rather be right here on a Thursday night than with you.
Thursdays.
Man, I'm glad to have y'all. I told you guys before that I was in my truck because I had some internet problems at the house. I had to come up to the library, so I'm not going to share my camera. But we're here. We made it work because that's what we do at Comics Gate. We make it work. Is that right?
That's right.
Sure, man. Whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did some background work on you guys, and I want to show you something, Michael. Michael. Pull it up here.
You sound like my
give me just a second to pull it up.
Oh, you go for
it. Let me find this here. Michael, this engine has been sold for sale for 8 years. Have you sold that engine? I've got to know, yeah. Like the.
It only took me a week to sell that engine, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it is a 440 engine, so I mean, it's not like they're making them anymore, you know, from 1969.
Yeah, I was looking you guys up, and I found that, and I was like, "Daggone, that engine's been for sale for 8 years. It's still up." I'm like, because I wanted to see, you know, I know you got the Skits channel, but I wanted to see the artist, the art. You know, I figured if I looked up Michael, I'd find like this art channel, and there's just like 440 for sale, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, I'm a huge fan of classic cars. Okay, so that 440, I'll tell you the story right quick. It's a real funny story, and it'd be great for your show, actually. So, I'm living down in southern Georgia about 9-10 years ago, and I'm looking for classic cars to flip, you know, buy, sell, stuff like that. So I find this 69 Charger for sale down in Mexico, Florida. Now, they didn't have any pictures of it or anything. It just said $5,000. And I was like, well, shoot, man, $5,000 for a 69 Charger. It can't be too bad. You know, I mean, even if it's a bucket of rust, you could still go get it and make some money on it. So me and my buddy, we hop in the car. We don't even have a trailer or nothing. We just roll straight on down to Mexico, Florida, about 100 miles away. So we get there, and sure enough, the thing runs. It's a pile for sure. I mean, it's a pile, but it for $5,000. I was talking to Lee. I'm like, we take $4,500 for it. She's like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, all right. So I got cash, and I'm like, so it runs, right? She's like, yeah. So we just hop in it and we drive it all the way home, 100 miles. Now, let me tell you, the dashboard was blown out of it. There's like, I don't have a seat to sit in. I'm sitting on an egg crate, you know, on one of the milk crates, and I'm just going through all these old country towns, and people are just staring at me. And it's like middle of July. It's 100 degrees, deep south. It's hotter than heck. But we get it out on the 10 to bring it home, and I'm doing like 75 mile an hour in this thing, all down the 10. No seat belts, no seats, nothing. I'm just like flat flying. Got it all the way home, and when I got it home, we had to put it up on the rack to check something, and the front right wheel fell off of it. So,
oh, wow.
But I'm telling you, it was a pile, but I still got it. I kept it. What I did is I sold the engine out of it. It's been completely redone. We're about to put it back together, and it's got a brand new Hemi to go in it. So that's my dream car right there. You know, Dukes of Hazzard, you know, 69 Charger.
You lucky you wasn't going on the highway and you saw your wheel pass you up.
I know, right? I know. Well, I wouldn't have saw it because it was the front one. All I just saw was the concrete and me flying down the 10.
Going
yeah, I'm like flying down the 10, passing people. I'm like, woo, you know. it was a mess, man.
Where I'm from, people don't have all their lug nuts anyway. I mean, you might find a car with 2 or 3 on it.
Exactly. I mean, if it drives, it rides, you know. Keep it between the ditches, you know.
You see cars going down the road with mattresses on top of them because they ain't got a truck or something. So That's
Their
Oh,
hands
yeah.
like their hands on it like this, holding it
Oh,
up.
I know all about it, man. We both from the deep south. We know all about it.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys know that I think that your campaign is going to make around $300 million.
Yeah, we
Wait,
saw that. You know, I think that's
wait,
a low estimate, though.
Wait. Jerry said he looked and searched. Did you find anything on me, Jerry? What's going on?
Well, well,
What?
I didn't find anything but the Come Get Some channel, and I want to know.
Ah.
I want to know why every time I go to get a comic book review, I've got to fight for it. Because every time I go to the channel, there's like you're like punching at me, and I'm like, well, let's go.
It's Punch and Judy. Well, I'm. You know what? I am glad that my security works. My security celebrity status works. When you're trying to find something about me, that's really good. So thank you to securities.
And she's jealous right now that you didn't find anything.
I am actually jealous.
You know, she's got an IMDb and everything. So
Yeah, you're gonna have to post it so people can find out who you are and look you up.
I like the scavenger hunt. I like it when they get to look.
Yeah. All right. So after the show, I'm gonna go fight.
But yes, we're gonna make $300 million, and
that's a low estimate. I think it should be at least 400 million.
Okay, 400 million.
I mean, if we're talking real numbers here, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's just leave that to the professionals, Michael.
Okay, well, I'll leave that to her. She better bring in 400 million, or you know, it might be over with.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, you guys both have an infectious personality, so I think you guys, because I think that people in this community really back the people as much as they back the project. You know, and you guys have a great looking project, so with your personalities and the people that you are, and you'll do great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate
hey,
it.
Shane in the chat.
Well, apparently my chat's not updating. Hey, Shane.
But yeah, we're hoping to really, when we drop, we're hoping to really share with everyone, because everyone has been like, what's going on? I've heard your name, floating around. We're just waiting for the campaign to drop, and so trust us, we are ready almost to share with everyone, but we're just trying to sell it a little bit, trying to keep the interest going. So
yeah, we still got a bit of work to do, but we're almost there.
Yeah.
Okay. But before we get into your art and everything, I guess we could go ahead and get into it. But your art looks like concept art. It looks like a production art more so than comic book art. So what's the background behind that? Because I know you got that from somewhere, or you've worked in that field. It appears that you've worked in that field somewhere.
Well, actually, my background is fine art and illustration. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design. So, I mean, I've been doing comic book work since I was a kid. I mean, when I first saw the Turtles come out, that's, I was drawing that, and that's where I really got started. But, ever since college, I've worked in the art industry of some form or another, doing design work, concept work, different stuff like that. So, I just wanted it to look high end. A lot of the stuff that I'm looking at these days, besides comic book art, is concept artists in the movie industry and the video game industry, stuff like that. So, I mean, that stuff really influences me right now. So I'm actually doing the concept art to kind of be in that flavor, where it's lots of rapid painting and photo bashing and stuff like that. It also creates a real nice, slick product that you don't really get to see too much in the comic book industry, which, would be really nice, in my opinion, to see. But the actual art itself, it's going to be done traditionally. It's, pencils and inks on paper, and then I bring it into the computer and I do a little painting, I do a little pizzazz, I do traditional coloring, and then, it'll be great. It'll be like, I'm hoping that it'll be on the level of like a Dave McKean, a Kent Williams, Jason Sean Alexander, those type of artists, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, well, if you know, I approached you guys about a project that I'm doing. It's set in 1800s England, and when I saw that ghost ship uh, concept art, I was like, man,
Mhm.
that is the dude. But I got turned down. I'm a little sad about that, but I'll find somebody. So don't
Well,
lose any sleep over it.
well, I'm sure, as you know, this is a lot of work, especially if you have a regular job and then you're also coming home or whatever to do even more work, which is actually more than your regular job. You know.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable amount of work. I I'm not an artist. I could only imagine what it would be like to have to actually write the book, draw the book, promote the book. But
Mhm.
but it's cool that you have your spouse and you guys are helping each other and y'all both are excited about the project and uh that's that's great. I mean,
Well,
I really like that.
well,
Thank you.
this is the marketing and editing and helping me out with the writing arm of the business.
So basically, I'm going to be editing and helping to co-write as well. So, we're going to try to make sure, our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed and, make sure that it flows well because, you've seen a lot of comics where you turn the page and you go, what? Did I miss something? Or it's just way too much. Like, just like a splatter of words and you're just like, oh, whoa, this is way too much information.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to, trim it down and make sure that it flows because we've got 6 books that we're planning on for this. It's not just a one and done and like, oh, hey, thank you so much. We're planning to do 6 books and that takes, a lot of time to do and plan for. So we just want to make sure that we have books that are out there. So once you read the first one, the second one is coming right up on the heels, of that one. So that way you're like, oh yes, I can read it and I can get the next one. So it's a lot of work.
I've worried about the continuity of my first and second book. To plan out 6 books at one time, that's a great that's great because it's which it'll come together as you complete each book. So
well, we actually have all 6 books laid out. I mean they're already there. I mean, I actually, the way this got started was I dreamt these actual stories 20 years ago. And, all this stuff has been written down and drawn and stuff like that for years. So I'm just going back and putting it into a little bit of an order. And that's that. I mean, it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
So you dreamed the chicken. So that's definitely deep south.
Chickens everywhere.
Yeah, everyone knows about chickens being on top of things.
If you've got a Popeyes, it's all about the South.
I have a buddy, he's a pastor, and he calls it the blessed bird.
Yeah.
The blessed bird.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So
Yes.
you sent me a video. It'd be the first time anyone has seen this video. Do you want me to go ahead and play that, or would you rather show your art?
No,
first?
yeah.
You go ahead and then we'll
the
get
video.
into the art. Yeah.
The video is only about 40 seconds. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's. I'm gonna have to figure out how to share screen again.
Shane says, "Show me, show me."
I'm going to have to redo it because I didn't share the sound. Let's try it again.
That's okay.
All right, let's see here. Chrome tab.
Skits interview. Take 1. Hey there, Skits. Hi, how are you?
But then, let me tell you, late at night, I was downloading some videos. Getting some nice old videos there, some loving videos, and then we would actually. It was okay because I was on the boss's computer. But someone loves skits, so that's always good, That was okay. That was okay. Someone loves skits.
So these are like our little snippets into the insane asylum that Skits hails from. So we're just showing like little snippets, leading up to like another premiere of the second interview, because I don't know if any of your viewers saw it, but we have one Insane Asylum interview with Skits, and it was crazy. So this is the second part of that interview. So these are like little snippets leading up to that. So,
yep.
Well, the video quality is great.
We worked with Verse Films Productions on that one. So we've been working with that company for a lot of our videos. And so we get a shout out to Verse Films Productions. So, and I think they're taking, commissions, or they're helping other artists out there that really need some stuff, but they're a horror production company. And they mainly do horror, and but they do other things as well. So go check it out.
Okay, so I saw on your YouTube channel that you had some like some musical stuff. Do you do that at home, or is that something that you do? The I don't know, it's just some beats or something.
Who's
on Michael's channel? On Michael's channel.
Oh,
it just might have been some old music that he uploaded. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay,
I have no idea. I never really. I mean, I use that that YouTube channel just for like watching shows and stuff. But everything that has to do with this is on Skits. I have no idea what's all that. I totally forgotten about that engine being on there.
Okay, well, so if people want to find you, then they need to go to the Skits YouTube channel.
Skits Comic, yeah.
Yep, Skits Comic on YouTube and on Twitter.
And on Indiegogo.
Yeah, and on Indiegogo, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Check us out on Indiegogo. Get on the mailing list. Mailing list is hugely important. It helps us know exactly what the interest will be before we launch, which is huge. And plus, you get discounts and free goodies if you're on the mailing list. So
we always say, "Welcome to the goodie room." If you remember that Tropic Thunder, welcome to the goodie room.
Yeah. So, your art. You want to dive into it?
Yeah. Let me share my screen here, and we'll jump right into it.
Okay.
And yeah, so when people sign up for the Indiegogo, there are going to be some goodies and some discounts and things. So make sure that all your viewers and everyone knows this. Oh, yes. So this is the exclusive that we're giving you. We have not shared this at all to anyone but you right now and everyone that's watching.
Okay.
So the one thing when we first started promoting all this, all we showed was skits. It was just all about skits, all about the character skits. The one thing that we didn't really tell anybody about is that it's actually a team-up book. I mean, right here, what you're looking at is the team for Skits. So
okay.
This right here is just the basic, what you would call this would be like turnarounds, where you draw the figure and you do 360 turnaround drawings of them so that you know exactly what they look like. So these, finished stuff. All it is just a concept piece, the color. If you look off over here to the left, we'll go from left to right here, and the character on the left is the only character that actually has a name besides Skits right now. We're just releasing little bits here and there, but that's MC. He's obviously twice as tall as regular human beings. He's a big hulking thing.
Huge.
And I'm sure you can imagine what big guys do in books.
Yeah. He is huge compared to your other characters.
Oh yeah, he's a big one. And then you got Skits, and then you got 3 other characters. And just wanted to show this for your viewers that these are the characters that are actually going to be in the book. So look out for them.
Look out for them.
I definitely will. I will. And I'm sure from what I've seen, you guys got a little bit of hype behind you. So I'm sure that, like I said, you're going to make $300 million. So they'll be out there.
Why are you undershooting it on us, man? We can do better.
I know.
I hope that you do. I hope that you do.
Thank you very much.
Conservative estimates here.
Just throw a coin to your witcher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let me bust that out. Please don't let me bust it out.
So we'll go into it and show some of the other stuff also that we've been sharing and whatnot. But this is the concept work for the book right here. I'm sure since you've gone so far and in depth into our lives that you know exactly, you've already seen this stuff.
I have already seen it, but my viewers may not have. So, of course, I know that you pointed out on another stream during my deep dive into your lives. I watched a couple streams that you guys were on, and I know that you said that everybody asked about the flag, but you can't give anything away. So, can you give anything away?
No.
The answer is still no.
Still no.
Yep.
But just know that these flags that we're sharing with you on all of the concept art that Michael is sharing, you need to take note on where they are. That's a hint.
Yeah, I'm watching. It looks like it reminds me of Assassin's Creed, kind of this particular image.
Yeah, I could see that.
I
love Assassin's Creed.
Love that.
That stuff's good stuff.
I actually worked with the developers for Assassin's Creed the past 3 games, so there's some insight in that.
Yeah, I actually took some class. I took some was a 9-week course with one of I think the head artist, concept artist on Assassin's Creed. Her name is Dongle Yu. And I took her class before online. It's a 9-week course. She is fantastic. You know, her concept work is amazing. So maybe that was a little bit of influence for me.
Yeah, Shane, these actually are paintings. So if Michael, will you go over how you create these one more time for Shane?
Sure. I mean, basically this one right here was all done in the computer. It's just you start off with a rough drawing. Then you get a little bit tighter of a drawing. And then you start going in and throwing down washes of color, washes of value and stuff like that. And then eventually you just come to this. I mean, that's really all it is. I did a little bit of photo bashing in this one. Obviously, the background sky has a little bit. There's a little bit in the buildings there. But, I mean, it's all painted over, though. It's, photo bashing. Yeah, photo bashing is basically where you take photo reference and add bits and pieces from photos into it to actually build up your image. You use it as a reference and then you paint over it. So a lot of times you might get about 30–40% of the original photo actually still left in there, where the rest is still actual painted over. But what you're doing is you're taking photographs, or you're finding photographs that fit with the drawing that you've already done. So you don't use the photos to actually create the image. You use the photos to enhance your drawings in the image.
And Michael does a good job on some of the live drawings that he's done. So share that out with your viewers as well. Like if they go to Skits Comic on our YouTube channel, Michael has like a whole concept art series where he shares intricately like how to make pictures such as like this. I think the card that you put up with the girl on top of the elephant is very extensive, and it so Michael shares that.
Yeah, that piece was completely done online through a series of videos over a course of a week. So
so it's like getting free art tutorial classes, which is perfect.
Yeah, I watched that video. Well, I watched 1 or 2 of the videos. I don't know that I've watched all of the drawing videos, but I did watch them. Do you guys know who John Campbell is? He was like a painter from the 1800s.
No, was he an American painter?
No, he was an English painter.
Okay, I don't know too many English painters.
If you get a chance to look him up because this work here looks a lot. He used watercolors, a lot of watercolors, and painted a lot of architecture. So this looks a lot like it looks a lot like his work. You know, so it's a beautiful picture.
Oh, well, thanks. And here's another thing. A lot of people think like doing it in the computer makes you better. It doesn't. The way I paint these computer paintings is the same way I would do it if I was actually on a canvas with paints. It's the same process, the same build up. You start off with a sketch, you start throwing down washes, and you just build it up. You know.
Yeah, I got an iPad, an iPen, and I got Procreate, and it still looks like trash, so it doesn't make you better.
You got to know what you're doing.
I can, as long as I've got the autocorrect on my wobbly lines, I do all right.
There you
Nice,
go. There you
nice.
go. If you go into a vector program and you want to do some drawing in vector program like Illustrator or something like that, they actually have tolerances for your line work, so it's straight for you. While you know, it gives you nice curves. It
I have
straightens
some.
your straight lines, stuff like that.
I used to work at a sign shop. I have a little bit of experience with Corel Draw, but it's a totally
Sure.
different. Making graphics is totally different than painting something. So
Oh
it's a
yeah.
totally different world.
It is. I'm a production designer, so I mean, I actually do a lot of stuff where I work with factories over in China and stuff. And where I got started was in Corel Draw. I do everything in Illustrator now, but Corel Draw for doing technical work is way better than Illustrator because you can actually you got a lot more controls over your curves and your points and stuff like that. That you know, so it's a really good program. I definitely suggest anyone you learn it. I don't know if is it actually still out there anymore? Actually,
yeah, I think it
Draw.
is. Yeah, it's out there. It's really it's more expensive than what it's worth if you go to buy a license for it. I have a license because I had the sign shop and I worked a lot from home.
Yeah.
But it's really expensive for what it is, I think. But you can't work without it in some industries. So
yeah, yep, I know exactly what you mean. Now this piece right here, it's done the same way as that last one. You know, you just start off with a drawing, and eventually you get to what you want. You know,
and this one's got a little bit more fantasy art. That a lot of people are using those buzzwords for this, just because of the colors, and also because of anything over a bridge. You think of Tolkien or you think of something Lord of the Rings, but this one has that. And a lot of people are asking about the arrows and what is Skits doing.
Well, someone's obviously shooting some arrows at him, and he's either jumping, flying, or falling. So I guess we'll find out, won't we?
You gotta read the book. You gotta sign up.
You gotta sign up. You gotta sign up because you guys are tight-lipped about it. Now, I watched. Who was that I watched? It was I watched this J.J. Abrams thing about this mystery box where he had it was talking about Pulp Fiction and a lot of these older movies have these mystery boxes where it's not really the point is not to find out what's in the box, but the mystery behind what's in the box is what drives you to finish watching the film or to read the book or whatever.
It's what's in the box.
That's actually one of my biggest qualms with comics today is they just try and tell you everything. And it's like, you don't need to tell me everything. I don't need to know what every character's thinking. It's like, just send me on a story. Send me, let me find out for myself. Well,
obviously my channel is called Writing Comics, but I'm doing a video next. It'll be coming out next week about exposition and how not to use it, because I see a lot of that too. It's like you get hit with a whole page of text, and I just don't want to read that.
It's just too much.
Yeah, if you're not telling the story with the images, then you're doing something just a little bit wrong. You could probably tweak your.
Which is why exactly. Which is why on my show, Come Get Some, or our show, Come Get Some. It's my show, but it's our show. But I say when things get too wordy, it becomes a problem, because there's a point where you can read a comic, even if it's like bubbles, 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 bubbles. And it doesn't have to be like paragraph in the bubbles, and then you sit there and you're like, I'm trying to read the bubbles and I'm missing out on the art. I'm missing out on the actual comic because I'm trying to catch up to like what's going on.
You don't need the art because they're just explaining it for you in words. Yeah, it's like, explain it with the art. Don't explain it with words. Show it, don't say it. Right.
Well, there's a different.
Don't spray it.
Yeah, there's a different medium for that. It's a novel. If you're going to write comics in that style, then just write a novel. Why get to the expense of hiring an artist or the time to draw if you're going to fill the whole drawing up with words? Like I said, it could be tweaked a little bit if that's the way you're making comics.
Exactly. And then sometimes on the opposite spectrum, you don't have any words and you're like, well, what am I looking at? You're looking at this fantastic art, but then sometimes the pages don't work well. And you're just like, is this just a stream of consciousness? It just pictures. It becomes a picture book. It does. It
Yeah.
just becomes a picture book. It's
We started getting the art back from Carlos Trio. He's the artist that's doing Ever Matter. We started getting the art back, and well, he doesn't do the lettering. So my wife is looking at it. She's excited about the comic and everything, and she's bought some stickers and stuff to use, when I start my email list. But she's excited about the comic, but she's looking at the pictures and she's just going through the pictures, and just like you said, she don't know what's going on because she's read the script, but with the words not there, like there's not enough information to convey what's going on. So you're right, with the opposite spectrum, you can not have enough information. It's definitely an art form.
It's a pun. It's an art form.
So again, this is just more concept art. This is obviously a lot quicker of a piece. This is like maybe a 45-minute to an hour, and all this is for is just to get across a mood, a time of day, for maybe a page or two of the actual.
Yeah, I got you. I see.
This
is the picture that I was like, this is the guy.
Yeah, so this is that one that you really got excited about, and again, it's just a time in the story where it's like, this is a big piece. It's like, this is something that's happening in the story, and I wanted to just kind of show it as one concept pieces. So
reminiscent of, I love this as just the black and white piece. Like I was telling Michael, I said, I don't want this in color. It would be awesome in color, but I don't want it in color because this is actually really cool, the way that it is for the black and white. And it gives you that feel where you see, like in the background, and you see, like in the foreground, like the dark water, you see like a broken bridge, and it becomes like more of a steampunk where you see ships in the air, and you're like, there's ships in the air. But that's not real.
It's an early morning scene, like right before the sun comes up. Like you're definitely starting to get some light, but the sun hasn't really peaked yet. So that's really what's going on.
Well, the ship in the air really has that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You were about to roll on it.
The ship in the air really gives me that Peter Pan vibe. Like I expect Wendy Darling to fly out the window and just head toward the ship. Or the windmill in the background kind of gives me a Jack and the Beanstalk kind of vibe. So, but there's no flying ship in Jack and the Beanstalk that I know about. But it just, like I said, it gives me that Peter Pan kind of.
Meals, and they'll be like, "Oh, Jack and the Beanstalk." You're like, "No, there's no ships in Jack and the Beanstalk."
Well, Skits is a story about a guy who doesn't know the difference between his dreams and reality. So, it all kind of fits, right? Anything and everything.
Yeah, you can go so many different directions with that concept. Do anything that you want to do. So
definitely. And now I wanted to show people what the actual pencil and ink work will look like in the book. So, this is more concept work, but it's actual again. And, it just shows you that you're going to have a traditional comic book page. All these pages are actually going to be for sale. So you'll actually be able to buy these with the pages of original art for sale.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the wash in the background. It just kind of leaves it up to your imagination of what he's looking out at. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, and we're trying to share with everyone the line work that he's done for the background, the foreground. He's standing on a hill. He's looking at what seems to be like a city on a tree, and what seems to be like a city in the background there, but you don't know what he's going to come across. And so we're trying to share that with everyone. I myself, I love the tree that he has, that he's standing under that tree. I just love it so much.
Yeah, it's it definitely gives you that vibe of this like massive forest. It just works. It's like he's standing over a massive forest looking at this city. So, and then these giant, if that's off in the distance, there's these giant pillars in the background. But like I said, it's kind of like that mystery box thing again. You kind of, what is that? You really don't know, but it piques your interest. You like it,
Exactly.
You're like, what is it? But I like it.
Exactly. And this right here is another pencil piece. And it's just a scene from the comic. I wanted to show some more pencil work for people, because people were asking just like you did. They're like, well, all your concept work kind of looks like production material for movies or video games or something like that. So it's like I wanted to show people. It's like, well, no, this is what we're going to be having. We'll obviously have 5 pages of art and a cover when we launch the campaign that people will be able to see, fully rendered, colored, the whole 9 yards. Exciting.
So that's one thing I was going to ask you.
I just wanted to get people.
That's one thing I was going to ask you about the. Will you be showing sequentials on your campaign? Because up to this point, we haven't seen any actual sequential art. Are you guys still there? Hey, Skits. Are you guys still there? I think we lost them, Shane. We either lost them or they lost me.
Yep, we'll be doing sequential art. It'll be.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I cut out. I think we're behind a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely are.
We caught up.
Maybe.
Okay, so go back to the question again. Sequential art. Will we see the sequential art during the campaign? Because up to this point, we haven't seen any sequential art.
Yep, we'll be having 5 pages of sequential art that you'll be able to see on the campaign page, plus the cover. So you'll have all the goodies there. People got to know exactly what they're getting. They got to know what the book's going to be like and what to expect. So it'll be there for everyone to see.
Well, for one, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So
thank you so much. We're really excited, and we really want to let people know when they sign up for the mailing list. It's just, again, a way for us to know, hey, there's a huge interest, so we'll be able to generate that, when we start the campaign. But we also want to share with people and say thank you so much for signing up, because we know that everyone's on a list. People will start getting all these spams, and it's like, we're only going to share with you 1 or 2 things and 1 or 2 updates, and that's it. And when it drops, and that's it. So, I mean, that's your way of getting on that mailing list. So when you hear the news, you're not hearing it secondhand. You're hearing it directly from us.
Yeah, we ain't spamming no one. We
exactly
barely ever use it. So it's only when we got something to sell you.
Yeah, no one. I don't think anybody on the Indiegogo campaigns. I don't think anybody's spamming anybody. I think that if all these guys want to do is get their books out to you, if you're interested in skits, if you're interested in the artwork that you saw, which is amazing artwork. If you're not interested, you should be, because it looks like it's going to be a great book. It looks like it's going to be a fun ride. So go sign up for the Skits mailing list, because this is one of those you don't want to miss. This is one of those that you want to make sure that you're able to get that package in the mail and open it up, smell that new print, and just enjoy a great book. So that being said, how many pages are we looking at in the first book?
The first book will be about 60 to 70 pages. So we're trying to do a little more than what the normal campaigns are doing, but we're not going to go way overboard and promise like the world, because you just can't do that. You got to stay within certain bounds. But since we're new, we definitely wanted to just try and give people a little bit of extra so that they'll be a little more excited about it, for the price that they'll be paying for the book.
Exactly. So when you first, jump on the scene, people are like, okay, so it's another 24-page or 40-page book or 48-page. But if they're seeing like 60 to 70 pages, they're just like, oh, okay, this is something, more bang for your buck. Because, I mean, for one thing, if I was going to get a comic directly mailed to me, I don't want to just have a regular floppy and then, just a couple of pages and that's it. And I'm like, oh, I got to wait for another year for another campaign. I want to make sure I've got a book where I'm flipping through action and everything through it. So, that's something that we're trying to share with everyone.
Yeah, I definitely believe you could be successful with a smaller book, but I think that you have to release them more. If you're going to do a smaller book, you have to release them more often so that you have a choice to make. You release a big book like you guys maybe once a year or maybe twice a year, or you can do a smaller book, but you need to release, maybe quarterly if you're going to do a 24-page book. And you have to keep that price point down too on the smaller books because there is perceived value. If somebody gets a floppy and they pay $20 for it, that's not very good perceived value. So
it better be written in gold or in blood. Like I need to have something that is like going to wow and amaze me, to have something dripping in blood or dripping in gold in the mailbox. And I don't think USPS will allow that. But I'm just
yeah, and I think so. Doing smaller runs, it's a little bit more expensive, to make books than it is like if you were Marvel or somebody like that, where you could produce a 24-page book for 30 cents per book. It's a lot different for a small creator. I understand the fact that, you have to charge a little more. And I think a lot of the creators are making up for that by including goodies.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely have some, stretch goals and stuff like that. But first off, we just want to try and hop in there and get people interested in the book. People are like, hey, you should sell posters of your concept art,
right?
Stuff like that. But we're like, let's just focus on the book. We might have a few little things here we'll pop in, but we really just want to get the book sold, because at a certain point, you got to be able to make a certain amount of money to make it worthwhile, because you can't just be sitting here doing all this work all the time without making enough money to pay for your time. So, So we're focusing on the book, and we got some good stretch goals. So, don't worry about it. Well, everyone will be excited by what we're going to be given.
Yeah, I'm already excited, and I haven't. I'm already excited, and I haven't. I haven't
Hey,
seen any of the
Captain.
sequential. I haven't seen any of the interior art. So, man, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Captain.
Hey, Captain.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
You have missed it's not over yet, but you have missed us talking about a 440 motor. We have talked about the Deep South, and we are now talking about great art. So thanks for coming by.
Oh yeah. The only thing we need now is to talk about them great hotel rooms, those 6.5-star hotels.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
But you guys, y'all probably, unless your book makes $300 million, you guys won't be able to afford that. We both know that.
I know.
In the prime real estate location in Arkansas. So
Bentonville. That's the prime spot for the real nice hotels in Bentonville, Arkansas. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I did a lot of work in Arkansas, and man, I would rather if I had to fly over Arkansas. I hate it for anybody that's watching this from Arkansas, but if I had to fly over Arkansas, I'd rather just fly around.
Right.
Hot Springs is nice. Hot Springs, Arkansas is nice.
Yes, Captain, we are all waiting for the book. Even us, we're waiting for the book. No, but that's the thing. It's like when you're a creator, it literally is the metaphor of pregnancy, where it's just like you're birthing this thing and you can't wait to finish it up and get it out of you so everyone can enjoy and see and shower it with praise, because it's a long journey, but it's a great journey, and we're really excited to share it with everyone. And when people get it in their hands, it's going to be so good.
It's going to be nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. Yeah.
Well, there's always the question as a creator, you don't really know, and it's kind of like, how much should you share? How much should I release of what I've worked on to get people interested? It's always kind of a tricky thing trying to get people, teasing people enough to be interested in your book, and at the same time get enough out there that they can see what you can do.
Why do you think marketing people are girls? Because we tease the best. I mean, honestly.
Hey. Well, I
I gotta tell you, if it wasn't for her, I'd be putting out stuff every day. I'd be like, "Hey man, look at this one I'm working on." She's like, "You can't do that. You got to save it for the launch." I'm like,
well, then
yeah.
if you send everything out, the people go, "Oh, that's great," and then you're done, right? I mean, it's like, "Oh, I've seen that already." You know, it's like you gotta,
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
going back to the tease thing, yeah, men have been falling for it for hundreds of thousands of years, so I think you have a point there.
There is a point. I
Yeah.
mean, there is a point.
That's right.
I think we have we've showed the art, we've showed the video. Would you?
Oh, if you want to share the other video that's on the Indiegogo where it says play video.
Well, go down to the second one, actually.
Yeah. Oh, the second one, actually.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you can play all of them if you want.
Yeah, the second video, actually. Yeah, you can go down. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, I can't remember if I shared sound, so tell me if the sound's working whenever I start it.
All right.
Oh, is it the white ring of death? I think.
The white ring.
We might have done all we could.
Oh, no.
I think we're just hearing it through the speaker, but that's all right.
Yeah.
So did you guys make? Did you guys make? I don't know where. I'm trying to find the screen. There it is.
There we are.
Did you guys? Did you make the trailer for that?
Yeah, that production company, which is Verse Films, which is in the chat right there. Thanks, Verse, so much. They've been helping us out with a lot of our videos for us as well. So we really appreciate their time and their effort. So, I mean, it's a full service production company. So, yeah.
Yeah. So anybody that's interested in getting their services, they can go to their YouTube channel, I guess, and contact them, or
they can contact them on Twitter. Or Instagram. They're at Verse Films Productions. Or they can find them and they're there.
Okay. So it was a great having you guys. I think we're going to just end it right there. I hope whenever you hit your 300 million, like I said, just toss a coin to your Witcher. Let me know.
We'll toss you a mill. We'll toss you a mill.
I bet you will, Michael. It's gonna be like the lottery ticket you agree to share, and all of a sudden that person disappears.
Listen, how much money do you really need? You know, once you get to a certain level, you don't need any more, man.
You better talk about yourself, because I know I need some money. What's going on here?
I think the wisdom is that the more you make, the more you spend.
That is true. That is true.
If I had millions and millions of dollars, I would do all sorts of crazy out there making Sparable. I mean, it would be ridiculous. It's probably a good thing I don't have that type of money.
If I can say
that's why you don't have millions of dollars.
Yeah. If I can say before we go, guys, we've got some special stuff on the Skits Comic channel. We have Come Get Some. So if you have been watching all of my reviews, come get some new reviews. We've got one tomorrow. That's going to be a real blast tomorrow. So it's going to be really good. Really good.
Yep.
All right. Well, I will try to make it I comment occasionally. If I'm watching, I'll comment. So if you see me comment, it's because I'm watching. So I always try to leave a comment. I can't watch every time, but I sure try to support you guys because it looks great. This book looks great. Looks like it's going to be a great campaign. I'm definitely going to back as soon as when is it going live?
In the
spring. We'll do a countdown. Actually, if you're on the mailing list, you'll know about it ahead of time. But we'll do a countdown probably like 5 days before it launches. We'll put out countdown daily.
Okay, so Captain, that is going to be in the spring at some point. I think it just a scheduling whenever. Sometimes in the spring, I guess, when the work is done, right?
The work is never done.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yes, but there's going to be a countdown to the launch. So just make sure that you're prepared, because you'll see a 5, you'll see a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1, and then there you go. Mic drop, and then there you go. So thank you for your support and for inviting us on here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no problems. You guys know I'm a fan, and I'm sure you have many more fans out there that's going to be supporting you guys. So I don't think you'll have a problem. I don't know what you're going to set for your goal, but you look for that 300 million, all right?
Yeah, 400 million.
Like I said, leave it up to the experts. Well, I hope that your imagination runs wild and that all of your dreams comes true. And that's our show for tonight. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.